20 years for that? How you going to explain that to your kids? This man is facing 20 years for 20 seconds of TDS. I'm going to show y'all that in a minute. Elon Musk has finally responded to all of the protests and everything going on around the world in terms of him being in place to get rid of this government waste. But first, a man and his wife were arrested for vandalizing several Teslas in the Washington, D.C. area.
2 suspects arrested in a vandalism spree against Teslas. Now D.C. police connecting the suspects to 5 different incidents in the past month.
Fox 5's Shamari Stone has the details.
Tonight, some of the Tesla owners tell me that they are upset that people vandalized their cars. One woman says that she is pleased that police made the arrest and that the suspects turned themselves in. D.C. police saying 49-year-old Justin Fisher, 50-year-old Emily Fisher from Northeast, shown in this police-provided surveillance image, are charged with several counts of defacing public or private property. Take a look at this map. They're both accused of writing political hate speech on 5 different Teslas over the past month in Northeast D.C.
Oh, wow. This looks like some organized crime.
Phrases including, "I like what Musk is doing," "Ask me about my support of Nazis," "Let's do away with the administrative state, buy a Tesla," "I love Musk and hate the federal government," "Go Doge," "I support Musk," "Killing the Department of Education." Vandalism against Teslas is the latest reported crime by owners and dealerships across the country after Tesla CEO Elon Musk took charge of the Department of Government Efficiency, cutting federal spending and laying off or firing thousands of federal workers. People who live in this Northeast D.C. community again say that they are pleased that police are investigating the crimes as potentially being motivated by political affiliation, hate, or bias. Now, we tried reaching out to some of the Tesla owners, and one woman indicated that she was concerned about retribution, about speaking publicly, and we also tried reaching out to the suspects, and they were unavailable to comment about the arrest.
You see that, Democrats?
I'm Shamari Stone.
You got them terrified. They can't even come down. They don't even want to show their face to go, look, man, because they know how dangerous and vicious and vile y'all are. But y'all keep trying to put the spotlight on us, making it seem like, I'm just saying. Yeah, man, they definitely deserve to, all the consequences that's coming to them. They need to be fined for the damage that they caused, and they also need to spend some time behind them. Them bars, man, you learn your lesson. Look, stop following these liberal Democrat. No. Now, it's even going on in Disneyland. Now, we ain't about Disneyland. You know, Disney is woke anyway. However, for the kids who don't care or understand it being woke, come on, man. In the Disneyland parking lot.
Cheeks had left his Tesla charging.
His name is Cheeks. Oh my God, that's a fitting name. Apparently.
Cheeks had left his Tesla charging in a Disneyland parking lot for about an hour when it was
Cheeks is the owner.
suddenly and viciously attacked. You may not be surprised to see something like this happen, but you might be surprised to find out that the vandal was also in a Tesla.
Oh,
the passenger of a
don't be clapping Cheeks.
Tesla that parked next to Cheeks slammed his door into it full force, damaging the side of Cheeks' Tesla no fewer than 7 times.
What position is that?
Cheeks received a notification on his phone informing him that Sentry Mode had recorded an event. He had no idea what had begun to play out in the Disneyland parking lot. The passenger got out and began walking in front of the Tesla while the driver also got out, unplugged his own charging cable, and inspected the damage his passenger had just inflicted in the rage attack.
But I'm saying he didn't care about the damage on his own car?
The driver tried to brush the damage away, which obviously didn't work. He then jumped back into his Tesla Model Y and peeled out before his angry passenger returned.
Bro, you just as guilty. I don't care what you say.
When he did, Cheeks' Sentry Mode got a perfect shot of his face.
What was that running?
Now, Cheeks needs your help identifying the man who attacked his Tesla. If you recognize him, send us a message and we'll forward the info to law enforcement. When the vandal realized his friend had abandoned him, he made himself scarce. Cheeks filed a police report and informed Disneyland security. The police told Cheeks they'd need more information about the offender's vehicle to open an investigation, and he hoped Disneyland security could help with that. But they refused to provide any of that sensitive information.
What?
This has left Cheeks with nothing to go
Oh, don't tell me they own it.
on, so if you know who this guy is, he really needs your help. 5 minutes after his friend left him behind, the attacker came back to Cheeks' Tesla to peer through the windows before leaving again. Did he think it was his friend's Tesla? We have no idea. Fixing the damage cost Cheeks $5,000 US. Once again, if you know anything about this guy, or his friend for that matter, please let us know.
Man, that makes no sense. $5,000. And you was just chilling. It's not okay. Those were probably only written. They were probably only renting that Tesla. Tesla owners wouldn't do that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't make any sense for somebody to. I wouldn't allow you to open my car door and ram it against another car. Like, are you stupid? It says this is why B-pillar camera activation is in Sentry mode would be handy. It would have picked up the license plate. I can't wait for Tesla to develop their scratchless paint. It's looking like that's what we headed towards. I'm not gonna lie. But this FAFO moment you were waiting for.
This dude was arrested and is now facing 20 years for firebombing a Tesla dealership in the state of Colorado. Do you want to see the face of a dude whose butthole is in absolute jeopardy? Look at Cooper Joe Frederick. How do you think this dude...
Cheeks. Cheeks was a victim, but I'm... My fault, Cheeks.
...is gonna fare in a federal penitentiary? A little advice, my guy. If you're not already very adept at the art of giving throat hugs, you better start practicing right now. I keep telling people that this is not a good idea, and I don't even care about the cause, bro. Like, it's irrelevant to me. I don't like Teslas. I don't like y'all. Like, either way, it's a win-win. Who gives a shit? But you're throwing your lives away. You're gonna go to a federal penitentiary over the stupidest cause. All dumb shits were literally trying to guilt trip everybody into buying these cars just a year and a half ago. And now all of a sudden you're willing to spend 2 decades with your butthole being the community pincushion, all because, what, like you saw some shit on TV or social media? Indoctrination is astounding.
Yes, it is. The way that the Democrat Party has been able to induce this TDS and brainwashing should be studied. I'm serious. This should be studied, man. Somebody said, but will he spend even 1 day in federal pen? In a federal pen, I doubt it. If some judge doesn't let him off completely, he will only spend a few months in a local jail. This guy's spot on. And that was actually one of the first thoughts that went through my head when I saw a picture of the guy, too. I thought, yeah, he's not going to like living in his new address. Not one bit. Nope, just like my homie, I'm going to stop making fun of Cheeks. I'm going to stop. It's just the name. I can't get enough of these videos of escaped inmates from the insane asylum who were protesting President Trump and Elon Musk yesterday.
Hooray, hooray, it's a tax that we've already paid to protect us in our golden days, and we won't be fooled no more. We've made all through our working lives with it. Hooray, don't take it away, don't even try, no way.
I mean, we see that they had the ability to mobilize, you know. It's what they do when they do that, though. When they mobilize together, it becomes dangerous. I'm going to show you in a minute. Ooh, ooh, y'all know we allergic to the BS. Ooh, allergic to these libs. Try to tell you, boy, give me some libtard. Some Claritin libtard. Anyhow, remember this woman yesterday who was like, who made the video? Like, people are asking, the left is asking, what do we do after all of this settles down, or after you get finished marching for the first day and all that? She was saying that they need to go ahead and continue doing that. They need to march even more so that the voices who are afraid of speaking up will have an opportunity to speak up. Well, that same woman has followed up with this video.
I was one of the paid protesters at the April 5th.
Hold on. What did you say? Say it one more.
I was one of the paid protesters at...
Oh, I'm sorry. I had AirPod in my eye.
I was one of the paid protesters at the April 5th liberal protests. And so I just wanted to come on and talk about my experience, what I had to do to get paid, and how much I got paid. So there were two kind of parts to it. The first was obviously just showing up. They gave me like a time and a place and told me to look for a girl with blue hair and a nose ring, which like I thought would be really hard because I thought like everyone was gonna look like that. But luckily, she was the only one. It was really easy to find her. So yeah, that was good. I checked in. They told you that you couldn't wear anything MAGA. They also asked you not to wear red. So I just wore a black t-shirt and jeans. And
Oh, wow, you had a black shirt on in that video, if I remember correctly.
yeah, I checked in and then they said just like go on the march. And then at the end, there would be like a questionnaire to answer. Oh, and then the other thing is they said they would pay extra if you brought a sign. So I did bring a sign. Again, same thing, like couldn't be MAGA, had to like be in line with like the liberal agenda. So my sign said, everyone deserves a good education, which like I don't necessarily personally agree with. Like if you're gonna be a server or like a mechanic, like you don't really need an education, but I wanted to fit in.
A mechanic, though? So you mean to tell me you could just walk up to a car and you could just do... I'm not...
I wanted the money.
I see why they was able to get you to participate.
I didn't want to like draw attention to myself, so that's what I went with. So, anyways, I went on the march, and then at the end, I had to check back in, and that's when they gave me the questionnaire. And okay, the interesting thing is like you had to answer the questionnaire as if you were a liberal, and there were right and wrong answers. Like it wasn't just like whatever you thought. Like you could get the questions wrong, and you had to get them right in order to get paid. At this point, I had
Wow.
already invested like 2 hours of my time, so I wanted the money, you know? So the first question, for example, was why do Republicans want more women to stay home and not work and not have jobs?
Wow.
And again, I just kind of like had to put myself in like their mindset. So I wrote basically like if women don't have jobs or job experiences and they have to rely on men financially, and that gives men a lot more control over their lives. For example, like, you know, if like she's in an abusive situation or whatever, she can't really leave, especially if she has kids. She doesn't really have the means to take care of them, and she doesn't have the experience to get a job that could like afford to take care of them. So it just gives like the men a lot more control to kind of do what they want her to do, basically. So that was my answer for the first one, and I got that right. But there were some that I just like didn't really know what they would consider a right answer, you know? So I just asked, I was like, what do I do if I don't know how to answer this? And she said, just like do your best and then come talk to her at the end. So, for example, there's one I didn't really know what to say. It was like, what is critical race theory and why should it be taught? And like, what's an example of like something that you could learn from it? And I like didn't know what they wanted the answer to, you know? So I just asked her about that one, and the answer that she gave is basically they just want people to understand the lasting effects and impact of segregation and discrimination. And the example she gave, what she called it? She called it like generational wealth. And she explained that during slavery and during Jim Crow and like even after that in some places, like black families.
I'm sorry, this woman, I can't continue. Seriously, man. Hold on. What are we? Well, why did I have to sit through 4 minutes and 9 seconds of that? Huh. Soros funded, they were all paid. Yes, man. You can see that they were able to get the easily gullible. I'll just put it like that. I mean, we ain't gonna sugarcoat it. We ain't gonna sugarcoat it. It take no time for her to be swayed. Oh, word, just do this, do that. And then the fact that they exhausted their efforts just to pay them out. Oh, you got to do this, do that, do this, and then your final boss step is this. You got to get quizzed. Now, why are Texas State University buses being used to transport protesters against Trump, Elon, and Doge?
Charter buses, people don't believe that people get out here and they charter buses to do their protesting. They pay protesters. We got two full on. No, there's no Trump on there. They're just paid protesters. Crazy.
They can't even get their protesters to be organic. They couldn't get their rallies to be organic. $25 an hour to protest against President Trump. Who is writing the check?
And how many hours? How much you get an hour? 25 cents. 25, right? We're getting 25 an hour. 25 bucks. Hey, you know what? I would do some crazy shit for 25 bucks.
At this point, we over here like, hey, where do we sign up? We don't believe in the cause. The cause ain't gonna do nothing to hide no. I'll go stand out there. I ain't gotta hold no sign, do I? C.J. Pearson infiltrated one of the Soros-funded anti-Trump protests in Washington, D.C. yesterday, and he ran into this white liberal who was worried about getting deported.
What's up, guys? CJ Pearson here at one of the biggest anti-Trump protests in Washington, D.C. I'm with this guy right here. You have a sign that says, you can't send us all to El Salvador. I know a lot of people have come from, far and away to come here to Washington, D.C. to make their voice heard. Where did you come from? I came from Portland, Oregon. Hey, Portland, Oregon. You born and raised there?
Yeah, I was born and raised there.
So you're born and raised in Portland, Oregon. Your sign says you can't send all of us to El Salvador. Portland, Oregon is in America. Why would you be sent to El Salvador?
I think that it's very clear that what the Trump administration is trying to do is go after the people that are racist, keep eroding and inching close to all of us. And
what are you saying, bro? What are you saying?
They don't have any patience for anything.
Do you have an example of the Trump administration sending American citizens to El Salvador?
Well, yeah, we remember the gentleman's name, but
oh, you're good. Thank you, Jay.
Yeah. Legend has it, he's still taking his time. Just like Jasmine Crockett is, as she got her security this time with her. She was prepared.
Congressman, what's your response to the Attorney General saying you're threatening lives with your rhetoric against Musk and Tesla? Congressman, why are you in my face,
I'm not.
I'm just asking her a question. She's an elected member of Congress. Congresswoman, do you see any connection to you saying you want to take down Musk to the violence that's going on in the streets?
Of course she doesn't. She can't even see you. She got new security that we paying for. But like I told y'all, Elon Musk has responded to being called a fascist and a Nazi. He said, and I quote, I have not personally committed violence, nor have I ever advocated that others engage in violence. Yet the left has firebombed and shot bullets into my stores, and many have advocated for my death. They are guilty of that which they accuse me. I'll take that. We already knew that for 500, but I got to torture you one last time. You know why? Because Cory Booker went on The View to take a victory lap for joining the Soros-funded anti-Trump / Musk protest this weekend, then somehow compared it to the civil rights movement.
And I wanted to be one in the number of millions of people that were standing in rain, standing across the country, coast to coast, and speaking up. So I've been pushing it still.
How happy were you to see all the folks that came out around the country?
Yeah.
You mean the folks that y'all paid to come out? I will go if you pay me to go to a concert. What?
Around the country.
Yeah.
It was for me food for the soul.
Yeah.
And you didn't see partisan band waving. You saw Americans standing up for Americans.
Yeah.
Because we really are at a moral moment, as we've been generations past in the suffrage movement, the civil rights movement, the labor movement, the LGBTQ movement. So many movements we've seen Americans join arms, a rainbow coalition standing up for what's right.
And this ain't a one-time thing. This is going to stay. This is going to stay with Americans every day until this stuff is fixed.
And I wanted to be one in the number of millions of people
standing up for civil rights. That don't even make sense. Do you even know why the Republican Party was started, my brother? Bro, this guy's a little delulu, man. More than delulu. Standing up for 25 hours to say nothing. Food for the soul, bro. Watching people vandalize and. But had this been. But if that was a Trump that could be. I'm trying to collect myself, y'all. Too many thoughts, obviously, racing at once. I'll just read a comment to get me centered. The lowest rated party on the lowest rated show seems very fitting. Man, the View, I don't even know how they still in View right now. I think it's best to watch with the volume off. You know what? I'm going to start giving y'all volume warnings. Y'all would like that? Let me know in the comments. Someone should have just asked him if he was paid too, just like the rest of the protesters. I know that's right. I know that. Sure should have. Man, thank y'all for watching this video. Thank y'all for tuning in. I was getting some suggestions on Twitter to like shorten up some clips, and we'll probably definitely get into that. But for now, I want to say thank you to everybody who's coming to watch the long form content. And I appreciate the criticisms. I appreciate all the shares, all the likes, all the comments, all the donations. You know, bringing the truth definitely brings great risk. We've been demonetized before, so thank y'all for helping me keep the channel afloat. Go check on somebody today. You could be saving their life, and I'll see you in the next video.